Hi, everyone. I'm Anna, and welcome to today's message, day 4 of Restoration and Healing 5 Days to a Healthier You. Today's message is on empowerment to heal in God's amazing grace from Matthew 15:30 to 31. Great crowds came in, bringing the lame, the blind, the crippled, the mute, and many others, and laid them at his feet, and he healed them. The people were amazed when they saw the mute speaking, the cripple made well, the lame walking, and the blind seeing, and they praised the God of Israel. A reminder that despite our challenges, God is always present. And this verse is about the compassionate heart of Jesus, who feeds the hungry and his healing power in helping the sick. This part of Matthew discusses when Jesus was traveling in the area near the Sea of Galilee, and the people had gathered and they had brought their sick so they could be healed. The disciples were with him and had been witnessing his miracles of healing, and the news had spread. It goes on to talk about how the people were hungry, and this is where you also hear the story of the 5 loaves and 2 fish, where Jesus turned it into enough to feed all the people, around 4,000. It is a story of faith. The Bible encourages us to trust in God when we're facing challenges in our life, persevering when things are tough, and understanding that the mission and journey in our life takes tenacity, support, assurance, comfort, encouragement, and of course, God's presence in our life. But mostly it takes faith. And this verse is proof that even in the times of scarcity, our physical needs get met in faith and our sources get multiplied. It's a challenge to trust and rely on God to do miracles in our life because of his mercy for us. And Jesus healed all of these people and he fed them too. If he can do that for them, imagine what he can do for you. Now, yesterday you heard me say that I'd been sick during a specific time in my life, and it really wasn't that long ago. But if you're a follower of my page, you've heard me tell the story a few weeks ago as well. And many people didn't know about this part of my journey because I had just really recently revealed it. Being a private person until I found myself on the journey, I hid behind sickness so others wouldn't know. And I put on the smiling face, but some days it was hard to do. Now, I have a kind of psoriatic arthritis, and I have some complications to go with it, and it's not been an easy journey. I've had surgeries that coincided with the diagnosis and was taking chemo for a long time to combat the pain, along with other medications, and some were just to cover the side effects of the chemo. And not that long ago, I was taking 8 pills a day, and the cost was around $84,000 a year. But without it, I wouldn't have been able to function at my current level, and it was going downhill pretty quickly. So I was told if I didn't take those medications, that soon I wouldn't be able to continue to function at that level. And not only was I sick from the disease, but I was sick from the chemo, and my hair was falling out. I had sores in my body, and in places like inside and behind my ears and the back of my neck, I had bleeding wounds that just wouldn't heal. I lost some of my hearing, and there were days when I could barely comb my hair because my scalp pain was just horrendous. And I had a very nice girl in town who would cut my hair just right so I could hide the bald spots. I frequently wore hats. And actually, today, even though I'm wearing a hat, that's not the reason. I had medications that didn't work to heal my open wounds. They just alleviated some of the pain. And if I said I was miserable, then I would be being kind about it at best. And if I said I was beaten down and had a broken soul, well, I wouldn't be exaggerating. And some days I got out of bed and I was in so much pain I needed to hold the door jamb for my bedroom door to get to the bathroom. And I couldn't even always sit down to use it without falling backwards with a pretty hard landing onto the seat. And after I took some medication and it was still for about an hour, it was a little bit easier for me to move with less pain. And each day I dealt with it, some level of pain. It even hurt to be hugged. Imagine having your significant other hug you and having it hurt. It was ruining my life. And I had no idea what to do. It ruined me and it ruined my relationship. And it was one of the hardest times in my life. I felt so bad about myself that I ended my own relationship. And I've said many times I didn't deserve that guy. I really didn't. But in June of 2024, I had finally had enough. I prayed really hard, the hardest I'd ever prayed, and I asked God to deliver me from the pain. And finally, one day, I had this overwhelming idea come to me. I have no idea why, but I felt it was okay to do it somewhere deep inside, even though I was afraid. I went to the doctor and I said, I need to stop the chemo. It's killing me, and every time I take it, it feels like I'm putting poison into my body. Now, she looked at me in disbelief because she knew my pain. As a rheumatologist, she dealt with many patients just like me. She agreed to reduce the dose, but she warned me against it. She said, I can't make you take it, but I get it. So I'll reduce it a little, and if it goes okay, we can discuss it more in your next visit. The pharmacist specialist who had been specifically assigned to me said, well, we'll leave the prescribed dose as it is because I think you're going to end up going back to it. But let's go ahead with your plan. You're the patient. And as they reduced it very slightly, I took it upon myself to reduce it more without even telling them in small amounts. It was my body, my choice, I thought. Now, I'm not recommending doing this, just saying I had this spiritual reason brewing inside of me to do it. So I did it in faith. I replaced it with something else, a natural herbal remedy that I'd been studying, which happened to accidentally fall into my lap, so to say. I began using it with a combined herbal oil to heal the open wounds, something the local Indian tribe uses that was provided by a tribal customer in my shop. Just by chance, she needed something and made a special trip into my shop for it, and she'd never been there before. In fact, she'd never even heard of us, but was told about it by her sister. And without my telling her, she recognized my pain and asked me about it. And she came to my house the next day and dropped off this herbal medication for me to try. And slowly as I healed, my faith began to grow because I found myself relying more and more on God and being thankful for my progress because my wounds were healing. And as they healed and the psoriasis came controlled, my symptoms diminished but didn't totally subside. But I'm telling you, I was grateful every day for the progress. And soon, I didn't have any sores left. And though I was still in some pain and had a different necessary pharmaceutical medication to control what pain remained, I am now a person with clear skin, a clear scalp, and a full head of hair. I still use the herbal remedy along with one now specific medication is prescribed, just one necessary one. And that customer, she's now my friend. And the doctor and the pharmacist specialist, well, they don't have any idea what to say to me. They can't even believe the difference in me, and they call it remission. But I call it a miracle. I call it God giving me a new friend. I call it God giving me an idea to trust in faith. I call it God in action and empowerment to heal. Let's just say I call it God, because who else could have done it? Who could have taken a woman who could barely stand to be hugged and turn her into the woman I am now? I am living a life I thought I would never see again. I am living proof of a living God, active and involved in my life, and who has lifted me to a place of amazing, miraculous, and unexplainable health. Now, you might not choose to believe in the power of God, but I am proof of his mercy and unconditional love in every breath I take every day. I trusted in his care, knowing that he's more than capable of meeting me in my pain. He gave me grace and he led me on a journey of faith to share all of the miracles that have been occurring in my life, things that I kept quiet for so long. Ever since I was a little child, in some cases, because I just simply didn't understand. But I do now. It is his love that has changed my life and healed me in every way, emotionally, physically, psychologically, and spiritually. So let my story encourage you, even when it seems impossible to do. Let faith lead you, even when it seems hard. Believe in miracles. Choose to step out in faith today and trust in God's miraculous provision for you and lead you to a life journey of his unconditional love and testimony to bring others to him too. Today, choose God's amazing grace. If this resonated with you, comment love and I'll direct message you the link to our Facebook page and website. Please like and share my post. And thank you for your donations to my divine mission and for helping me to keep my messages alive. I'll see you next time.